The 2024 election is coming at us like a freight train, and I think most of us Americans know we can choose between a Democrat or a Republican. But a recent Gallup poll shows that independents actually now constitute the largest voting bloc in America, 43% of U.S. adults versus 27% for Democrats and Republicans. So joining us today to talk about what other choices you might have this November is Christina Tobin. She is the founder of the Free and Equal Elections Foundation, which is a nonprofit that works to empower American voters through education and advocacy of electoral reforms. Christina, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
James, I really appreciate you having me, and I'm excited to see you. I'm going to meet you next week, so
Yeah, I'm excited because I do
together.
understand. Yeah, we have a debate coming up next week. Maybe not one that people were expecting, but perhaps one we badly need. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, Free and Equal Elections, my nonprofit profit that is, has been hosting presidential debates since 2008. So this will be our fifth cycle. And for this year, 2024, it'll be our fourth presidential debate. Our last debate in July, we had at Freedom Fest. I got to have the honor of sitting next to Representative Thomas Massey as a co-moderator. The fourth and final debate will be this October 23rd in Los Angeles. It's a dream come true private venue in the Hollywood area. And so I'm excited to be there. We have three candidates confirmed from the third, fourth, and fifth largest parties: Dr. Jill Stein of the Green Party, Chase Oliver of the Libertarian Party, and Randall Terry of the Constitution Party.
Nice. So I'm wondering what were the qualifications to get into this debate? Because obviously I think Trump and Kamala, they probably wouldn't want to do this one for whatever reasons they might have. But there's some other folks that are within this kind of third party realm who I just noticed, that we're not there. So I'm wondering if you're able to share with us the process of getting on this particular debate stage.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up my stats of the ballot access. Here it is. It's always been to be on the ballot in enough states to be viably electable and or receive 2% in national polls. So someone like Kennedy or Cornel West, ballot access starts a lot later for independents, in this case, Dr. Cornel West. I've opened it up beyond that. So as of now, Chase Oliver is on the ballot, Libertarian, 89% of the states for the Electoral College, as well as Dr. Jill Stein, well, not as well, but upwards of 84%. Claudia de la Cruz is 42.5%, Randall Terry is 27%, and Dr. Cornel West 25%. So I opened it up beyond even Harris and Trump, Chase Oliver, and Dr. Jill Stein, and decided, our debates need to be even more open. So I included Claudia, Randall, and Cornel West. I wish we could open it up to even more, to Dr. Shiva and Peter Zonski, but Vermin Supreme, there's so many other people running for president want to be there. But this is bigger than a presidential debate series. This is the beginning of a movement. So I look forward to working with a lot more candidates that are not rightfully at our debate, have been invited October 23rd, but that's our criteria. And it's not open enough. I just continue to open it up as much as I can, and we'll continue to do so in the future.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm wondering, it's kind of odd why some people would, I mean, I understand why Kamala and Trump wouldn't want to do this, but some other folks like maybe Dr. West or you mentioned De La Cruz,
Yes.
do you know why they rejected the invitation or maybe they haven't rejected, they just haven't accepted yet?
I don't know. Sometimes I've talked to Santita Jackson, who will be opening up with the national anthem at the presidential debate. Might I add, this is a debate that's going to be highly produced. It costs upwards of $250,000. Our production team just did a shoot with Lady Gaga 2 weeks ago at the venue for a week. Taylor Swift, they work with, like that sort of a level of expertise and professionalism. So I would ask your listeners to kindly say, Dr. Cornel West, Claudia de la Cruz, we would love you to be there. But what Santita Jackson kind of messaged to me, she's close with Cornel West, and I text and have communicated. I can call on, talk to Cornel and Claudia. But sometimes campaigns get too busy, they get stretched too thin, or are they running a real campaign? I think they are. If they are, they really need to show up for the people. I've kindly and lovingly told them that if they do not come to this debate, I do believe it will be the biggest regret of their campaign.
Yeah, I think I would sort of agree with that. If you're going to be on the ballot in all these states, probably should try to go to this this debate and have a lively discourse with the your fellow people who are running. But I wanted to ask you about ballot access because I know you have a lot of experience in getting ballot access for independents. You were on Ralph Nader's national ballot access. I think you were the the head coordinator of that. So I'm wondering if you could give us some insight into what kind of effort it takes to get an independent candidate on a ballot, and maybe also share with us some of the maybe the pitfalls and the traps that leaves an effort vulnerable to, say, a court challenge. We've seen that a lot this election cycle, both Kennedy, the Green Party, being sued in numerous states by the Democrats.
Yeah, the restrictive ballot access barriers, the fact that an independent has to get over 900,000 signatures versus only 25, 50,000, which is still a lot for Ds and Rs, but not 900,000, is unconstitutional. As well as a lot of other flaws for our electoral system. The fact that we have the worst voting method, singular vote, to gerrymandering, to, I mean, we can go on and on, voting machines. So these flaws are what keep getting the Ds and Rs, the ones that are corrupt, re-elected over and over again. So yes, restricted ballot access barriers. I am an expert when it comes to ballot access. At 17 years of age, my father ran for governor as a libertarian, and I was like, why does he have to get 25,000 signatures while the Ds and Rs only have to get 5,000? And Dad was knocked off the ballot, but 4 years later, I stepped in as a coordinator and got him on the ballot for lieutenant governor. And Ralph Nader heard about that in Chicago. It's pretty challenging there, Illinois in general. And I stepped in 2006 as a state coordinator, and 2004, that is, as a state coordinator when he ran for president. And then 2008, when he went independent, I became a national coordinator. I started off statewide. A month later, I was overseeing all 50 states plus DC. So I've seen firsthand the Herculean challenges when you're outsider of the system, like Robert F. Kennedy definitely was the cycle. They use the flawed judicial system to wrongfully knock accountable candidates off the ballot, especially when they're a threat to the system. Ralph Nader his peak was really 2004, which is why the Democratic Party again used the flaws of the judicial system to wrongfully knock him off the ballot in 32 states. So to be able to take that task on in 2008 and get him on the ballot in 45 states plus DC, I'm a builder. I'm an organizer. I overcome the odds. And that's why I'm the founder of Free and Equal Elections, because no one else is really doing presidential debates at the level that we are, aside from TV networks now, which is wrong. They're biased. They should not be hosting debates. The Commission on Presidential Debates before. Follow the money. Can't trust it. Follow the money, follow the heart with Free and Equal Elections. We truly support the open of ideas, and those ideas, those solutions, will be addressing topics like the ones I just mentioned, the flaws of the electoral system, at our debate October 23rd. It's going to be from 8 to 10:30 Eastern time on next Wednesday, October 23rd.
Yeah, I kind of, just picking up on the point that you talked about with weaponizing the judicial system or some of the flaws with it, notice sometimes they take these challenges to court knowing that they're going to lose the challenge, but then it eats up the precious resources that some of these third parties have in that process as well. And I'm wondering if can you speak to, the people on that stage? Because I think this is a question that people are going to ask, is that, well, why do we want to even tune into this debate if none of these guys can technically win? Obviously, I personally don't feel that way, because I think as long as somebody has a mathematical path to victory, they can win. It's just that people need to vote for them. I've talked to I picked the brain of a psychologist, and I'm saying, hey, how can you help us understand what it is about people that, people are very open to being an independent, very open to ideas, but for some reason, when November comes around, they always seem to vote for either the Democrat or Republican. We talk about the spoiler effect. So, he kind of told me, it's some of this fear around the end of democracy on one side, or if it's going to be communism. But what's your thinking and philosophy, in today's environment where it doesn't look like, any of the people on the stage are going to win? So what do you say to that kind of argument?
My mindset is already set on 2026 and 2028. I think what Jill Stein, Dr. Ron Paul, Ralph Nader, the Ross Perot movement, arguably Kennedy, Trump now, they're paving the way for something even larger. We see an insular right building through Trump, and that's part of the process. We saw something build through Dr. Ron Paul. That's part of the process. So what I want to say is that Jill Stein, Chase Oliver, Randall Terry, and all the candidates running for president, they're building leaders around their campaigns. They're building experience. They're inspiring people to, they don't know it yet, but run for office in the future. So as we wrap up our presidential debate October 23rd, We'll be asking people to vote on our blockchain voting app powered by Nexus.io. Colin Cantrell is the founder of his dad co-founded SpaceX with Elon Musk. And our blockchain app will eventually implement polling into it in the future and voter registration as we become more established through that app, and as well as every single candidate running for office. These are third parties, I meant to say alternative parties, and independent candidates. There are more independent voters than there are Democrats and Republicans, so we don't even have a majority of the people voting yet, probably because they're not inspired by the candidates that are running, number one. Number two, they're unsure if their vote actually counts. Well, we can fix that. We can put it on a ledger. People can vote a paper ballot in the future, get a code, and go on the ledger to see that their vote counted. They'll be able to do that this October 23rd on our app, is to see that their vote is counted on the ledger. So we're here to really spark what's going to be the United We Stand tour. Free and Equal has been hosting since 2014 annually. Our most recent one, we had Kennedy as a keynote speaker. And that tour is going to bring together artists, conscious thought leaders, organizations, people that are going to be asked in their community to run for office, targeting the congressional races in 2026. So I see dozens, hundreds, a majority of people replacing D's and R's alike because they're all 70, 80 years old. They're old paradigm. They're going to fade away. And we're going to bring in a whole bunch of people like Representative Thomas Massie across the political spectrum. It's no coincidence he sat next to me at the July debate, because that guy is not run or controlled by any big money. He calls it out. He speaks his truth. And I foresee it's just a couple hundred people, and we're going to take our country back.
Yeah, what do you think is going to be the sort of the catalyst to eventually break this barrier of the duopoly? Because some people say it's electoral rules. I know you're involved with sort of the reforms around electoral rules. I'm kind of back and forth on that, because I'm always open to change and having a better system, whether it be, ranked choice or whatnot. But I'm also okay with, okay, we have these rules, let's play by these rules. I always reference Canada having a similar electoral rules. I know they're a parliamentary system, but people still cast one vote, one district. They call them ridings, but just one district, one vote. And they have, 4+ parties represented in government. And so I'm wondering, what is it going to take to get the third parties over the hill? Is it infrastructure? Is it, like you said, experience? Is it funding? Is it somehow to root out the corruption? What are the things that you're looking at, especially when you go on this United We Stand tour? What kinds of things are you guys going to focus on?
Well, as far as the best ideas, better ideas always come along, right? So throughout the tour, we'll have experts speaking and discussions throughout the tour, and we'll be plugging all of that information into the blockchain app, throughout the United We Stand tour. What these candidates need is a platform. This is why I called Free and Equal Elections Free and Equal, because when I was around the corrupt Chicago Board of Elections for a decade, I was around the Obama world, Blagojevich. You talk about Rahm Emanuel, Chicago. I opened up the Illinois Constitution one day and it said, Article 1, Section 3, all elections shall be free and equal. And I realized I knew that there would be a pivotal time in history that accountable candidates would need a platform to be heard on beyond money. Yep, money is always going to be in politics. To say we're going to remove it, it's just not realistic, but we can shine a light on what money is supporting what candidates through a blockchain ledger, right? Like Open Secrets and others integrated into our app and whatnot. So we're going to give them a platform through the United We Stand tour, and uniting with celebrities and artists. Music's the healer. The 432 hertz frequency is going to unite our country, and we're going to make it fun. And I see beyond the political party lines. I see Stein, good on her. She's really calling out the two-party system and having a lot of success. And I think Kennedy could have really done that as well, but the ballot access was just stacked against him. Understand why he had to make the moves that he did. But in any case, I see all these individuals coming together, and through free and equal elections, it will be on a decentralized platform in the future. And our blockchain app will become a way to transform our elections, bring about transparency on a how do I say, a alternative social media platform beyond traditional that is social media. So that's the bigger vision. That's a big question. And I'm always still growing and learning. I see documentaries forming from the ground up live. I welcome you and all independent media to come and hang out with the candidates October 23rd and supporters and the United We Stand artists. They're going to be performing, at least 7 of them, I think, throughout the debate on October 23rd. So you're going to see Santita Jackson opening up with the national anthem. Again, the daughter of Reverend Jesse Jackson, to somebody performing even the national anthem, Jimi Hendrix style, to a beautiful acoustic music guitar. And this is going to be the kickoff for a much bigger vision in 2025. It's going to take an independent movement to get these candidates not only elected, but when they do, they're going to implement blockchain voting, which will, shift the power from the federal, state to even local level, and they'll reform the electoral system. They'll bring accountability within our elections, and that's going to happen. It has to. The latter for me is not an option.
Yeah, I think the majority of Americans would like to see some of the retirement of some of these archaic ideas and people and move into a new America, if I can just put it that way. So before we wrap, I just want to give you a chance just to recap everything. How can the audience tune into this free and equal debate? Because I think there's going to be some important questions being asked there, ideas being talked about that we didn't hear in the Trump-Harris debate or the Vance-Walz debate.
Yeah, we're going to definitely be talking about the war in Gaza. I mean, shame on the TV networks for not bringing that up, because that is so important to the people, to inflation and debt and healthcare, and the list go on and on. There's the housing. I mean, and we welcome people's questions. We submitted a few of them that'll be asked throughout the debate. You go to freeandequal.org. It's going to be live streamed there. It's also going to be live streamed, of course, on Rumble. Scripps News and C-SPAN is broadcasting it. They may do it live. They'll know a day or two before, but they're definitely broadcasting it. KPFK is coming in studio. Kim Iverson's going to be there. Tiffany Cianci, right? Like, the TikTok and the influencers, YouTube, you guys are the ones that are going to make the change, because mainstream media, I mean, they'll eventually have to cover the debate series. It might be 2028. It's all good. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to keep going and moving forward. But I'm really glad that you're going to be there on the ground, and you can go sign up for the live stream at freeandequal.org.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. And what time is it at again?
October 23rd. It's going to be from 8 to 10:30 Eastern time.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Christina, for coming on the show today. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your hard work in putting all this together. And I'm sure the audience is going to look forward to a great debate.
Likewise, and feel free to reach out to more independent media and invite them to come to the debate. It's private, but it's going to be you guys. I have seats for all of you, and ladies, and thank you so much for the hard work that you do.
If you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.